Hey everybody, it's Karen and Stephanie with Food and Family. Today is tomato canning day.
Tomato canning day.
We are so excited. We just got back from the farmer's market and we bought 2 big boxes of Roma tomatoes. And we're going to can them whole. So you're going to see how we get to do it. We've got our first batch washed and ready to go. Aren't those beautiful tomatoes?
And these have been almost impossible to find. We finally found a little subsection of the farmer's market that had them.
Yes, she called around. The best tomatoes here in Alabama come from Sand Mountain. Nobody in Sand Mountain had the Roma tomatoes. So we'd like to can them whole, and that way you can just crack open a jar, chill it, and just eat them with your vegetable supper, or crush them up and make tomato sauce with them.
Or chili. I'll do my own marinara. I'll prep some jars with the marinara ready to go. Chili, beef stew, anything.
Yeah, anything, soup, whatever you want to put tomatoes in. And this is only the beginning for us. We'll be going back and getting more. And if we can find more Romas, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll get regular tomatoes. But first of all, we have to start out with peeling them.
Prepping your tomatoes. So we've rinsed them. And now we're going to do them in a boil bath, simmer bath. And you want to be very careful about doing this because you don't want them to sit there and boil. You just want the peel to pop and take them immediately out. Put them in an ice bath to stop the cooking because you just want to be able to peel that peeling off really easy. Yeah. This is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much. Now, I don't know how you do, but when I'm doing my tomatoes, I cut a little X along the bottom, just a light X, and it allows that hot water to penetrate it a little better. So, and see, and that's all I do. Can you see that X? X marks the spot, right? And then we're ready to drop it into the hot water. And we're going to get a couple of them done, and we're going to show you what they look like when we take them out. And like she said, it doesn't take long.
You don't want these to get too soft because they'll be too juicy. You'll lose a lot of your juice prepping them to get them into the jar.
Yeah, and you want that juice from these tomatoes. We have our jars washed and ready. We're doing quart jars. We'll sterilize them. We've got our lids, not the rings, but we have our lids back here in a small pot with some water heating up so we can sterilize them. It's very important that you sterilize everything that you're using. Beyond this point right here, it can set up bacteria, and you definitely don't want that. But you'll see these in just a minute, and it'll start, that skin will start kind of crackling up a little bit, and it'll start wanting to peel off.
They'll get like a little more plumper as they get to that point, and then start watching where you've pierced. And if you don't pierce them, just be watching them because it happens quick.
Yeah, you don't have to pierce them, but to me it helps accelerate it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Now, when we put them in our jars, you want to add salt, and we're going to show you what we do with that. You do not want iodized salt. You want plain salt or canning and pickling salt. And that is very important right there. Yeah, look here.
Yep. That's hot. All right, this is what we're talking about, getting them where they're, look like the skin is wanting to peel. It's just soft enough for the skin, but it's not damaged the tomato. Now you put them in the ice bath to stop that. And once they've cooled enough, then you can start, you're going to need a skin bowl and then your good tomatoes in here that you're going to put in the jars. See how easy that is? It just peels right off.
And you're not wasting any of that
your
tomato.
Yeah, I mean, perfect. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it.
All right, we're going to keep doing this and getting our tomatoes in this water and getting them ready so we can get the skins off. And then once we get finished, we're going to come back and we're going to show you the next step. It really goes quickly. It is not a difficult process. And according to how many tomatoes you're doing,
we've got
how much time it takes.
We got about 40 pounds worth of tomatoes to do.
So, but it won't take that long. So let's finish this and we'll be back and we'll show you the next step, okay? Okay, so we have got a huge bowl of peeled tomatoes here. And just to recap, we had our water to a boil and we cut a little slit on the end of the tomato, dipped it in the boiling water. It starts cracking like, put it in ice water, take it out, peel it, and they're perfect. So now
it's taken us no time to get this big bowl.
No, not at all. So now we're ready to fill up our jars. Now she has sterilized our jars, and what she's done, we wash them real good, and then she set them in a very clean sink and poured boiling water. We keep boiling water in our kettle here and pour boiling water into the jars, and that sterilizes them. We also have our lids
in boiling
water.
You can also, if you don't want to go the boiling water route, stick them in, nothing else, just stick your jars in your dishwasher, do the sanitized wash on them, leave them in there, don't even crack it open until you're ready to take them out and start filling them up.
Yes, and that'll work too. But we're going to water bath them anyway. So, okay, so we need to, next step, start filling up the jars. So, and that's it.
And we've got clean hands, we've got our canning salt, as long as it's not iodized salt. And we're going to add a teaspoon to each jar that we're going to do.
It's 1 teaspoon of salt per quart. If you're doing pints, it's 1/2 of a teaspoon.
We'll do those 4. All right, we'll just start filling them up.
Okay.
And once you get them filled up with your tomatoes, then the juice, this thing is full of juice, then we'll start adding the juice.
And put as many as you can get in there.
Our tomatoes are still mostly firm, and if you need to smush them in there, that's fine too.
That's technical, smush.
Smush.
Now that looks like a beautiful jar of tomatoes right there.
We got one more small one.
I want to put one more in there. Now, I wouldn't come up with the liquid to that first.
Yeah, show them on.
Just the first lip right there is as far as you want to go. Now, look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous jar of tomatoes? Okay. So we're going to finish filling these jars up with the tomatoes. Then we're going to come back and we're going to show you as we ladle in the liquid, okay? We have our jars filled up with tomatoes. Now, I'm going to show you again how beautiful that is. I'm just so proud of them. Now, out of that box, we got 8 jars. And we're going to take the juice that's in the bowls.
And we don't have enough to go in all of them, so we're going to put a little bit in each and then finish the rest with our boiling water out of our kettle.
And as they sit, it is just going to get more and more tomatoey. So it's going to bring out the tomatoes from the tomatoes. Now we've got them sitting on a towel because you don't want your hot jars, once we take them out of that pot, you don't want them sitting on a cold surface, and this quartz is cold.
And once you get the liquid in here, you use this nifty little thing or a knife, and you make sure you get your air pockets out of your jar. Yeah. What am I doing?
That's called a debubbler, because you want to get all the bubbles out, get the air out.
And the reason behind that, if you have not ever canned before, you want to make sure you get all that air out so that you get a good seal and it is sterilized and sanitary and it stays shelf stable.
And this little kettle is just the neatest thing.
This is the greatest thing ever.
Put a link to the kettle in the description box. Anything you see we're using, you can get in the Amazon store, and I'll put the Amazon store link in the description box. Go to the description of the video, click more, it'll open the box up and scroll down till you see it. Okay, so that's done.
And another thing, I will do some of my jars. We're not doing these jars that way. I will take fresh basil and garlic and go ahead and add my herbs to it for the ones that I'm going to do my homemade marinara tomatoes with. You can't go wrong adding herbs to your tomatoes. It just sucks in that flavor.
And fresh basil is the best for that. Of course, fresh herbs, anytime you can get them, if you have them, are the best. Sometimes you can't.
Alright, I'm going to finish getting these air bubbles out, and then we're going to put lids on them, and we'll come back when we put them in the canner.
Yep, and show you what we're going to do.
Alright, we have got the air bubbles out. We have wiped the rims down, and now we are putting our lids on.
It's important that you wipe the rims down of the jars, because if you have anything on that rim, it's not going to seal good, and then your tomatoes in this case, or whatever you're canning, is going to go bad. This little thing that she's using,
this is linked in her Amazon store. It comes in I think it's the ball canning kit.
Yes, but this the little magnet, so because this water is hot to sterilize these lids, and so that's the magnet. So she can just pick up one at a time and put it on the jar.
Alright, then you're going to take your lid.
And you just finger tight. You don't
want to crank that down.
No. And you can see, if you can see on the back of the stove here, we've got this, it's a canner, but we're using it for our water bath.
The water bath.
And she's got her water boiling that now.
Alright, these are ready to drop in. We will come back shortly and show you how they look in the water bath.
Yeah.
Alright, we have got our canner. I put probably just a quarter of amount of water in the bottom, because you want to wait to finish putting your water in after you get your jars in, because that's going to change your amount that you need. You want them in here as snug as you can, but you do not want them touching, just to prevent them from breaking or bumping together. And then once you take these out, we're going to set them back on our towels over there, and then the lids will start popping, and that lets you know that the seal is set. Sometimes it happens immediately, sometimes it's not. You just don't touch the lid. Just set it and forget it.
Okay, so let's come over here and see what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? You know, we're going to certainly enjoy these come wintertime. All right, well, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Our timer just went off, and Stephanie is taking these beautiful tomatoes out of this pot.
All right,
Careful, they are hot.
we're sitting them back on our towel over here.
Yeah, because then what you want to start listening for is that lid. You'll hear
Pop.
pop. Count your number of pops. So if you don't, they don't all seal. You can redo it, right?
Yes, you can always take it out, re-sterilize your jars, take your tomatoes, and start over. You just have to start the process over again. Because if you have one that didn't seal, then do not use it. Unless you're going to use it immediately.
Yeah, you could put it in the fridge. All right, so we're going to get these out, and we're going to let them cool, and we're going to start counting the pops. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, please leave us a comment. Let me and Stephanie know what you can, if you can, and what you'd like to can. So we certainly appreciate each and every one of you, and we enjoy having you in our kitchen with us. So y'all come back, see us, please like, share, and subscribe to our videos. And don't forget, hit that little notification bell so you'll know when we put out our next video. See you soon, everybody.